Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Today TV. My name is Mahamoud Today. Today we have two of our brothers with us on Today TV. We are going to talk about Africa. Good afternoon, Mister.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Please, can you introduce yourself?
So, my name is Faisal Alassane Mega and I come from Mali.
Okay, Faisal Alassane Mega.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mister.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm also good.
Good. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Omar Sisse. I'm also come from Mali.
Okay, that's great. You are all welcome on Today TV. Today we are going to talk about Africa, about the development of Africa. Mister, what do you think about Africa?
Talking about Africa, first of all, the development of Africa, I think Africa will never ever develop.
Oh, are you sure?
There is a need of development. That's clear. We all want to see Africa develop one day. I'm African. We are all African here. We all want to see Africa to develop one day. But talking about the development of Africa, it is a very, very difficult subject that we really have to talk about. You know, we are very rich in Africa. We have some natural resources here in Africa that we need to develop. We don't have the ability. We don't have a way. We really want to see Africa to develop one day. For development of Africa, we really have to get rid of corruption.
Okay.
We really have to get rid of corruption. We really have to invest in development, education.
Okay, Mr. Mega, do you agree with Mr. Sisse about that?
Mr. Sisse said the truth, but I disagree with him.
Okay.
Because Africa will develop. I think that Africa will develop and soon. Because we African, we have changed our mindset.
Okay.
So Africa will develop. Talking about development, I think that development is a changement,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So we will change because in the century, in 21st century,
Okay.
we young people, we decide to change our mindset and to do our research here in Africa. So, and I think that we will stop to immigrate to Westerners because we see that the impact that's proving here in Africa.
So do you want to say who make Africa weak?
I think that the immigration is one of the causes because we have many causes of that.
Okay.
So Africa will develop.
Okay. Mr. Sisse, why do you say that Africa will never develop? Why?
Because we don't have the ability of development.
Okay.
We really want to develop,
Okay.
but we have.
So which kind of ability do you want to talk about?
We have a lot of skills, a lot
Like
of
what?
talents here in Africa.
Yes.
Like I can say, let's take an example about young people.
Okay.
You see, you can have one young people who can tell you, I really want to set up a project, to undertake a project,
Okay.
but financially he's not able
Okay.
to set up that project. It's not because he doesn't have money, he has money because with that person you can see the last version of iPhone.
Okay.
We really want to develop, but we want to show ourselves.
Okay.
Because when you have the last version of iPhone, it means you have money with you. You can use that money to set up your project.
Yes.
You can use that money to undertake. You can use that money to do a lot of things. Otherwise, to use it to go and buy iPhone. We even don't know the value of iPhone here in Africa. Just to take picture with.
Okay.
That's all.
Mr. Mega, you said Africa will develop one day. For you, what is the best way to make Africa on the right way?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I think that if you want Africa to be developed, we have to, first of all, we have to change our education system. Second, we have to change our leaders. And the third thing, we have to stop to give to Western our resources free. Okay. And the fourth, we African youngest, we have to do our research in Africa, and Africa will develop, because our leaders, some of our leaders, they don't care about it. They don't care about Africa. They think only for themselves or their family, and that's not good. If you want your country to develop, you have to think about all the countries, not only yourself. So we have to change our mindsets. If a stranger come in Africa here, we have ability to give him hand, and he's going to take our hand. That's not good. So we have to that's not good. So we have to change that also, because they left their countries to come here in Africa. They will exploit our resources for free, and we African, we are saying, no, this one is nothing, this one is nothing. Or no, because they are developing with our resources. So we African, they can come here in Africa, they will exploit, they will take 80% and give us 100%. We have to stop that.
So as
They will tell him to do essay in French or something. He can do that. He can't do that because he have only one mindset. And if we change that system, I think that our children will grow up with a good knowledge. And also, the most invention in this world here is not the Westerners who invented. It's we African who invented.
Are you sure?
Sure, sis. Because this story that we learn at school is not the truth. They didn't tell us the truth. But we African, we know the truth.
Yeah, okay. Sisi, are you agree about what Mega said?
No, I disagree.
Why?
You know, even to talk about education system, our system is not about our system is bad because we don't have good leaders. We don't take education side and serious. Let's take an example about to give our natural resources to Westerners. It's not because we really want to give them, just because we don't have ability or skills to transform them. Talking about the uranium that my co-debate mentioned, we don't have the skill to develop, to transform it. We don't have the skill to use it. We have to give them. They are going to use it, to transform it in manufacture, and to come again to give it to us or to share it 50-50 or sometimes.
Thank you, Sisi, for sure. As we can see, the debate is very tough today. Mr. Mega said Africa will develop only, and Mr. Sisi said that is not possible. So, Mr. Sisi, we was talking about technology to have iPhone. Do you think that Africa can take the best way to use technology to go far?
No, because you don't know the value of technology. You don't have the skill to use technology today, nowadays, and in Africa. You don't have the talent to use technology. Here in Africa, we don't think far. We think just near to, close to us. That's all in Africa. But my co-debate mentioned one point that I really want to talk about. I think that we really have to sack Westerners. There's no need to give our natural resources to them free. Do you really think we can get rid of Westerners? No. Do you really think we have the ability to transform our resources? No. For ourselves, I don't think. Do you really think without Westerners we can develop in Africa nowadays? No, I'm not sure.
Okay. Mr. Mega, Sisi talk about our natural resource. Do you think our natural resource in Africa is usual or not?
I think that is usual because in Africa here we have many resources, natural resources, sorry,
Yeah.
like gold, uranium, and diamond and etc. So if those things we stop to give them free, we will develop. Because look at the uranium. We African, we don't have lights, and the Westerners use our uranium to give lights for all the Europa, or I can say America.
Okay.
So if we stop to give them, they will come and buy it. With that money, we can build the good institute. So if we change our system of education, I think that our children will have the good mindset, because here in Africa we used to charge the children with a lot of things. So if the child grow up, he can't choose between the school subjects. Like if that child want to be,
as you know, we are here to talk about Africa. Mega, I want to ask you, nowadays, if you, in your country or your continent, you have a lot of young people, is an opportunity for your continent to go far.
Yes.
What do you think about this potentiality which have Africa?
I think that we African, our youngs, they are very smart. They are very, very smart. So if we could have a good leaders to give our young people something to do some research, or to give them something to make their own business, or to create a job for our youngest, I think that they will stay in Africa here. In Africa will develop more than that. Because our leaders, they don't think about Africa. They think about only themselves. That's why we African, we have money. We have our own money, but we don't want to show it or to use it to do something, because after that they will see that and they will come and steal it again. That's why Africans are afraid to show their money or to create something for themselves.
Sister, what do you think about the young African peoples?
About development, there's no magic.
So they have to work.
They have to work hard. First of all, you have to work hard, and you have to work smartly. You have to work smartly. We have a lot of young people here in Africa. They don't want to work. They don't want to work hard. We want to see Africa to develop. For that, we have to wake up early. We have to wake up early to go to work hard for Africa. Talking about our leaders, it's not because they don't think about us. Here in Africa, everyone think about his own pockets.
So that's
make
Africa weak.
Yes, that make Africa weak. Even tomorrow, if Maiga gets the power, Maiga will think about his family.
Are you sure?
Maiga will think about his own pockets.
Are you sure?
For sure. I'm sure about that kind of thing here in Africa. You see, that's why we have to change our mindset. That's why
As you know, also in Africa, we have a lot of poor people. Mega, what do you think about the poverty here in Africa?
The poverty here in Africa, it's lack of investment. The poverty here in Africa, it's caused by our leaders. As I said, we have to change our mindsets, because Michael Debate said here, if I will be a president, I will think about my pockets and I will think about my family. That's why I said we have to change our mindset, and we have to believe on each other. Without believing on each other, I think that we can't be one. So if we want to develop Africa, we should be one, first of all, and we should work together. Not only my country, I'm talking about Africa. Let's take an example from Mr. Mohamed Gaddafi. Before he died, he said he wants to unite Africa. And they saw that if he did that, Africa will take control of the world. That's why they kill him. See.
So Mega said you have to unite and to be together and to make Africa more stronger, right? So what is your message for the young people in Africa?
We have to wake up early in the morning, and to sleep, to go to bed late. Talking about, he mentioned a point, Mohamed Gaddafi. It's not the Western people who killed Mohamed Gaddafi. It is we Africans, we are the ones who killed Mohamed Gaddafi. You know, Mohamed Gaddafi had a power that no one can mention it. That's why Western people, they wanted to kill Mohamed Gaddafi. They can't kill, they could kill Mohamed Gaddafi. That's why they was in need of help of African people. And it is
you wanna say is the African people?
The African people, they are the ones who kill Mohamed Gaddafi because they help Western people to kill Mohamed Gaddafi. When you help someone to kill someone,
it's like you
are part of that crime. You are part of that crime. You see.
So Mega, which message do you have for the young people in Africa?
I think that I will tell them to work hard. First of all, it's not to wake up early or something like that. They will have to work with their mindset, and you have to work like man, because nowadays homosexuality has changed all. The young people like men, they will think that they are ladies or something like that. They have to change all this kind of thing, and they have to work like men. And even we don't have factories to transform our resources or our agriculture, we have to work with hand. So they work with hand before created some machine can transform their resources. Or we have to do the same. We have to work with hand hardly and take our resources and transform it. So
okay,
I think
thank you for sharing. As both of them said, we have to work hardly for Africa and to make Africa far. So what is your last word, Mr. Sise?
I can say, first of all, I will thank you to give me that wonderful opportunity to talk about the development of Africa. To talk about the development of Africa. Okay, thank you. I just want to say to people, the nepotism, the corruption that we have in Africa, we have to stop it. We just have to stop it. The day that we are going to stop that kind of thing, Africa will move forward. Africa will develop. Africa will be independent. That's my last point.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sise. Mr. Media, what is your last word?
I would like to thank you for me. I think that we African, if we want to be developed, we have to change our mindsets and change our leaders, to all people that have power. We have to change them with a young people who has a knowledge, and we have to work without government. We people, we citizens, we have to work hard without government. At that moment, I can say Africa will develop, and we should stop to give our resources free, and Africa will develop.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mega. Thank you, Mr. Sise, for your participation for this debate, this wonderful debate. I would like to invite all of you to follow our channel on YouTube and also on Facebook. Thank you for your presence here on Today TV. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.